By the way, whenever you hear somebody talking about redistribution of income, in terms of to help the poor, to help the elderly, to help failing businesses, when you think of redistribution of income, that's what a thief does. He walks up to you. He walks up to you with a gun. He walks up to you with a gun in his hand, and he says, "Give me your money." He's going to redistribute your income. Now, what's the difference when Congress says, "Give me your money, we're going to give it to somebody else"? Well, it's the same thing. It's just one, if you do it privately, you'll go to jail. But however, if you do it through government, you'll be seen as a wonderful person and you won't go to jail. People say, "Oh, look how compassionate he is." Example I typically give, I very frequently give, is that, suppose I see an elderly lady sleeping on a grate in downtown New York. In the dead of winter, she's hungry, she needs some medical attention, she needs some shelter, and I walk up to one of you with a gun in my hand, and I say, "Give me your $200. And then having gotten your $200, I go down and help the lady out. Well, would you find me guilty of a crime? I think you should. I'd be guilty of theft, because what's the definition of theft? Theft is taking the rightful property of one person, giving it to another to whom it does not belong. Now, there's no distinction between that and when the agents of Congress say, "Williams, that $200 you made last week, you won't spend it on some Lafitte Rothschild Bordeaux wine that you love. You'll give it to us, and we will go downtown and help the lady out." There's no difference between those two acts. It's just a matter of legality. You say, "Oh, well, we live in a democracy, William, blah, 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 blah." And I like to tell people, well, the framers intended for it to be a republic because they hated the term, even democracy. But you say, "Well, look, we got together to do this." Well, suppose I walk up to you with a gun in my hand and I say, "Well, look, I got 5 people who agree with me that we ought to take your money." Or 1,000,000 people who agree with me we ought to take your money. It still doesn't change it. It's still theft regardless of how you look at it. So now, by the way, folks, don't misunderstand me. I believe in helping my fellow man. I think reaching into one's own pockets to help his fellow man in need is praiseworthy and laudable. I think reaching into somebody else's pocket to help your fellow man is worthy of condemnation, and it's despicable. Now, for those of you in the audience, probably most of you in the audience are Christians. And keep in mind, when God gave Moses the commandment, "Thou shalt not steal," I'm sure that he did not mean thou shalt not steal unless you got a majority vote in Congress. Moreover, if you say, "Well, God, is it okay to be a recipient of stolen property?" What do you think? Do you think God would say that was sin? I would think that he would say it's a sin.